The Ford Performance 5-liter Coyote Aluminator NA Crate engine is a direct bolt-in replacement for 2015 and newer GT Mustangs. But with the necessary kits and the added items, it can be used in any build that you're bold enough to swap it into. That means that this is a great option for someone that's pushed the limits of their stock block one too many times and that wants to upgrade, but it's also going to be a great option for someone that has a project car or a rolling chassis, even if it's not an S550. I personally love the Coyote platform because of its capabilities, and the Illuminator here is a step above a standard factory Coyote, so it's a go-to for those of you out there that are looking for big things. Obviously for the install, we're talking about a full motor swap here, so it's going to be a full 3 out of 3 wrenches in the scale, and in most cases, it's something that's going to require the help of a professional. The stock Coyote is an impressive engine and it can handle a lot unopened or in its factory form, but understandably, it does have its limitations. So Ford Performance took its 5-liter and upgraded a few different things to create what you can consider another series of the 5-liter, the Illuminator. Illuminators are crate engines that are built to deliver a higher level of performance, and Ford has a few different forms of Illuminators that are specific to your end goals. This is the Illuminator NA, so this is better suited for NA builds. Of course, Ford Performance also offers the Illuminator for forced induction builds, so if you're thinking of supercharging your Illuminator, make sure you're checking out that version instead of the NA or the naturally aspirated version. It's going to have a lower compression ratio for the boosted applications. Getting down to the specifics, the difference between this block and the stock Coyote is the connecting rods and the pistons. They're upgraded over the already pretty stout production components. The Illuminator rods and the pistons are specifically designed for higher performance applications. You keep the same compression ratio, 11:1, but you have Mahle hard anodized forged pistons that have a low friction coating on them. The connecting rods are Manley H-beam connecting rods, and they have ARP 2000 bolts, and you're also looking at the Boss 302 high performance connecting rod bearings. And like the factory Coyote, you have cross-bolted main bearing caps and thick main bearing bulkheads for bottom end strength. You still have the production aluminum block 5-liter 302 that's a 32-valve dual overhead cam V8 with a forged steel crankshaft, the twin independent variable cam timing, which comes in handy for tuning and squeezing out some more power out of your setup. You have the large rear sump pump oil pan with an 8-quart capacity, and it does have a nice oil drain back and a windage tray to control and improve the performance in higher RPMs. Jumping right up to the top end, the intake is the factory-tuned composite GT intake manifold, and it comes complete with the production drive-by-wire 80mm throttle body. And while this is the 32-valve, these are the aluminum heads with roller finger followers, and those help to reduce the friction, just like in the stock Coyote. Also in the heads are Boss 302 valve springs. The Illuminator NA does come with a Ford Performance engine cover kit, which is different than the stock Coyote crate engine, Ford Performance colder heat range spark plugs, a Ford Performance oil filter, and a billet steel oil pump. That being said, this isn't going to include the vehicle harness and PCM, so guys, take note of that, especially if you're considering swapping this into anything besides an S550 GT. Ford Performance does have a wiring, PCM, and install kit for manual transmission swaps, so you can always pick that up. If you're building an automatic project, you can always check out the automatic engine harness and the automatic transmission controls pack. Unlike the stock Coyote crate engine, this one isn't going to include the flywheel, and it's also not going to come with the alternator or the exhaust manifolds, just to be upfront with you guys. You will need to check out the alternator kit for proper install. One other thing that I wanted to mention here is that this crate engine does come with a 2-year, 24,000-mile warranty from Ford Performance for replacement or repair, so there is a little bit of peace of mind there. As far as price goes, you're looking at nearly $10,200 for this crate engine, and this thing does come pretty complete. So you are getting a complete crate engine here, not just a long block. Of course, you are looking at spending a little bit more for the other items that you're going to need, but Ford Performance does offer those kits to get you everything that you'll need for the install. And there is a $99 handling fee to get this thing delivered to you, so keep that in mind. All I can say is that we all know you gotta pay if you want to play. When it comes to the install, I hinted at this earlier, but this is going to be a full 3 out of 3 wrenches in the difficulty meter and a weekend in the garage with a helping hand. The time and the difficulty of the install will change depending on what you're installing this into. But no matter what, you're still looking at a lot of work and needing an entire toolbox to get the job done. Pulling a motor is no easy job unless you have a ton of experience. Your best bet would be to have access to a lift, have a cherry picker and an engine stand, and a trans jack as well. Honestly, this is an install for a professional unless you have the tools and the know-how to do it yourself, or you happen to have some friends or family that have pulled a motor or two before. That's going to wrap things up for the Ford Performance 5-liter Illuminator Coyote Crate engine, but you can always check it out more online right here at AmericanMuscle.com.